Okay, what we're gonna do is go through this hurricane that I just set up. You can go back and watch the video of me and Sean going through the shenanigans of bringing this home and setting her up, cleaning up the legs, put on new leg levelers and new leg bolts, and polished up the legs a bit, and then just kind of took a little overview. And first thing is first, I've got to deal with the batteries in the back box, because when you turn on the machine, you get the message that says factory settings restored, which usually means that the batteries are dead or not making good contact. So batteries are first thing on the menu, and I just opened up the back box and I noticed that things are a little loose. So what I've decided to do, where'd it go? Right where I put it last. Isn't it funny how that works? Bust out my security bit, and what we're gonna do is just remove these two screws. Okay, and then we'll be able to get to the nut on the other side of the lock and tighten that bad boy up, because, you know, for the sake of removing two screws, I like things nice and tight and not loose and floppy. So I'll start with that and then we'll move on to the batteries. Okay, the lock is removed, and you can see that this nut on the back, I can turn it by hand. Over the years, it's just loosened itself off. So what I'm going to do is get my pliers, crank that nice and tight, throw the two screws back in, and that will be all happy in back box headlock land. And then these batteries got to go. I could either mount an offboard battery or go NVRAM. I haven't decided yet, but let's, while we're here, let's throw on the flash. In the last video, it did look like a little bit of corrosion on the very left battery. Let's see what we see here. I'm gonna try and do this without breaking my fingernails, which I don't really have. Oh, that actually looks okay. How about this? Sometimes these metal rivets or whatever they are, they're so corroded they are rotted right off. So let's check out number two. What do we got? Look at that. That is the beginnings of corrosion. How about this battery? Yeah, the battery itself is okay. Battery number 3. It's not that bad. And that terminal is not so bad. So just the middle terminal is a little crusty, but not that bad. I still don't want to have batteries mounted to the CPU like that. But just out of curiosity, we could bust out the multimeter. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do this one-handed, but these are 1.5 volts each on a good day. They're DC, right? So let's see if they are any good or not. Okay, so this is so not going to work. You never know. I can sometimes pull off some shenanigans on the fly. Let's see. Okay, so that's 0.6 volts. That's no good. Doesn't really matter which end. Let's see, what do we got here? 0.6 volts. Pretty sure it's DC because current goes directly through. It doesn't go back and forth, so it's not alternating. 0.8 volts. So yeah, those maybe it's more the batteries are just dead than it is that the contacts are corroded. So we'll just pull out that CPU at some point and add on an off-board battery pack. But these are gone, and no more risk of ruining that very nice CPU. Because check it out, it is clean, no signs of corrosion. You would see little spots. It would be fairly obvious. Kind of turns into like a diseased look. That can affect the whole board. It can ruin all these switch connectors. I've seen it real bad before. You got to replace all the female connectors because they've been affected, and then you just got to replace the CPU or have it professionally repaired depending on how far gone it is. So okay, moving on, we'll see what next is on the menu. Okay, when I was putting the, I guess I was calling it a back glass before, but it's really just a translite. When I was putting that back into the machine, I noticed, let's see if you can see how it almost looks a little patchy in back. See those like cloudy, patchy looking spots? Yeah, see that? Just means that it's like needs a cleaning. So let's take this guy apart here. Then we can clean the translite, clean the glass, and that will really make this look much better. Here we go. So, interesting translite there. Pretty cool. But yeah, so you can see the patchiness. It's like, it's almost like humidity or nicotine or something just got in between the glass and the translite. I've seen this on many other machines before, but it's easy enough to pop it out. You can see it, even in the clear spot. Give this a nice clean, give the glass a clean, and it should look a whole lot better. Okay, I'll just show you what I'm doing here. My unorthodox methods. Just using some magic eraser and water. Get rid of the gunk and the funk. And then we will just dry this off. I already gave it a bunch of swipes with the magic eraser. Okay, I can already tell that that is already looking better. It's got rid of whatever that film was in between. And then same for the back. This should clean up nicely. Now I could scrub really hard and get this a lot white, but I only want to just kind of get rid of the surface crap. I don't want to go too crazy on it. Just give it a nice little clean job. Okay, so I'll just do that to the glass next, but I'll actually probably use Windex on that and then put it back together and show you what it looks like. Okay, I cleaned both sides of the translite, both sides of the glass, and installed it. Let's take a look at what it looks like. Yeah, it's nice. It's kind of hard to see with all the reflections, but no more patchy spots. And yeah, so I'm happy with that. The trim's all fastened on there, nice and snug, so yeah, that's much better. Okay, next item on the chopping block. If I'm going to be servicing this machine, I want to make it as simple as possible. I'll probably have the glass off the majority of the time, so this won't really matter, but this is super stiff. Like, it moves, but you really got to crank on it. So we have to possibly take things apart, investigate, clean, lubricate, whatever it takes. Might remove the whole receiver bar assembly. Figure out why the heck this thing is just ridiculously stiff. So that's up next. Okay, here's the receiver bar. It is removed, and quite possibly unnecessarily. Now, I did kind of notice this as I was analyzing it at first, but I thought that it was probably just gummy and needs to be cleaned, so I could clean it in the sink really good. But this is what I noticed. These screws are actually touching the slide bar, so maybe somebody just cranked on them a little too much, and maybe all I needed to do is turn these screws. Hold on one second. Sorry, I gotta set you down for a moment. Uh-oh, I already feel the tension releasing. Okay, I just loosened that screw, Let's see. It still looks like it's touching though, doesn't it? But let's see. Already I can move it with one hand. So I took it apart completely unnecessarily. Good thing it was only 76 screws and 3 bolts and nuts. So now to put it back together again. I don't know if I need to lube it or anything. Might clean it up a little bit beforehand, and I'll add more tape to the handle just so that this never shorts against the coin door metals like the lamp sockets and whatnot. So tape that up, clean it up, put it back together again. Should be good to go. Alright, check this out. This lock bar I just put on. It's on there nice and snug. Here's the tape on the handle, and watch this. One finger, boom, and boom. And see this? No problem now. So that problem is now solved. So cool. Now I'm going to, I don't know, tinker around with the switches and bulbs or something, make sure all the switches are working. I'll keep you posted. Okay, so I'm in switch test now, and I'm just going to go through all the switches on the machine, make sure everything appears to be working. I've tested a few. It's always good to test the switches with the balls, because sometimes your finger doesn't replicate the ball's trajectory accurately. So I was suspecting this switch wasn't working. No? Maybe it was this one. No, both those work, eh? Okay. And then another in lane. This is what I noticed so far is, check out this switch. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. You can do it. How about you, ducky? Oh, he's a fast ducky. The black duckling is always the little bugger, eh? You are a slow ducky. Okay. Now I'm going to proceed to... Oh, we don't have action there. We found another, or I guess a dead switch. At least the drops were registering. Let's go up this orbit, see what happens. Let's go up this orbit and see what happens. Let's go up this. Goes into the Ferris wheel. Okay. So, at least that one switch. Not a whole lot of switches on this game. Really? I already checked those. Those are like bad cats, eh? Pop bumper lights don't appear to be working. Are there any pop bumper lights? What? I think I see a lamp socket in there. Maybe hard to tell, but maybe not. Look at that. It doesn't even look like there's a lamp socket in there. Did they not come with lights? Or did somebody remove them? Okay. Interesting. There's where the ball gets staged and moves into the Ferris wheel. Like so. Which is very cute. Falls into the other Ferris wheel. And it was a little, the blue one was a little bit, you know, stiff. It was having a little bit of trouble, but they both are on the same band here, so I don't know how one can spin and not the other. Well, I guess just like that. See how the red one's spinning and the blue one's not? That's what I have to remedy. Sometimes when the ball was in there, it wasn't, needed a little extra nudge. I feel like they're supposed to always go together. No? They're all in the same system, so that's gonna need addressing. Yay, fun. This juggler action here. Ball gets launched into this up kicker and gets juggled across to the other side. And then where does it go? Oh, it comes out there into the pop bumpers. Oh, that's kind of cute. Let's see if I can stick my finger in here and, yep, that switch works. Okay, so I am going to just keep on plugging away, see what I can find, and I'll definitely keep you posted. Okay, this is what I've noticed here. Look at the thickness of this ramp here. Okay? And then look how thin the ramp is there. And then look how thick this ramp is. And then look how thin this ramp is. And this one is also nice and thick. So I think this is a new ramp. This is a new ramp. Wait a minute. No, that's not true. Okay, look, it's really thick here. But this is the same ramp as here, which is really thin. That's kind of weird, eh? Maybe it was made that way on purpose. Thick at the entrance. And this guy goes all the way back here and not so thick at the exit. The entrance is what needs to be beefy, so maybe there's no new ramps at all. Yeah, look at that. If this was new, that wouldn't have a chip there. So I guess they just had you know, an interesting ramp design where it's really thick at the front and really thin at the exit. So okay, I'm pretty comfortable I can say that ramps are not new, but I'm pretty sure that all the plastics are probably new. And all the plastics include what? 1, 2, 3, 4, and then the slings 5, 6, this red 7, this guy 8. Maybe they, if this plastic is new, that means they would have had to rivet this plastic on and this plastic on, which is a bit of a pain. That's like 2, 4, 6, 8 rivets. Did someone actually go through that trouble? A lot of people don't do that, so maybe this plastic could be original. Like, how is this not broken and this not broken here? So are these new? They look nice and new. Maybe somebody just replaced the slings, because for sure the slings are new. What about these two guys? Do they look new? They look pretty good. This does kind of arch down just a little bit. Makes me think over time it's, you know how plastics warp a little bit, so I'm going to say the slings for sure are new because the used ones are in the coin box. And maybe this guy and maybe this guy. But I'm just guessing. But either way, all the plastics are in great shape, so that is good news. So I've been rambling on long enough. Let me actually do something productive now. Okay, it didn't take me long to find the first issue once I lifted up the playfield. First thing I'll show you. Someone See these switches here, the stand-up targets, how they're riveted? Someone added screws and these, you know, kind of wire nut type things in place of the rivets, because this target must have fell apart, or they changed like one of the switch blades out or something, but it's actually in there really good. It's kind of a clever way of doing things. So there's that. It's fine. Just interesting to see the different types of MacGyvers that people do over the years, right? That's a new one to me. Okay, so this is the issue here. This up kicker, I just tried to activate it like so, and I heard clang. So what was happening is there was where the clang was coming from. But why? Well, the answer is this. The roll pin on the popper, this is actually called a ball popper, is worked its way out a little bit. So I just got to squeeze that back inside, because the roll pin was catching on the edge of the switch there. So that could have affected gameplay for sure. So I'm going to squeeze that roll pin back in where it belongs, and while I'm at it, clean this switch, and that'll fix that problem. Okay, this up kicker has been reinstalled, so it flows nice and freely now. It's not catching on the U-shaped switch, and then when the ball falls into here, it lands into there and closes the switch. So once it closes the switch, it fires the ball back out. So that is all good. Now, what I did was disconnected the two wires for the drop target solenoid, voila. And then there's two connectors, and the whole thing can come out. So now I can take this bad boy apart and give it a good cleaning. If I had the target decal, I'd install it now, but I don't, so I'm gonna have to order me up a set of those. But that is next. I like how it pops out pretty easily. Just gotta resolder two wires. Okay, so drop target assembly has many parts, as you can see. Each and every single one I'm gonna have to clean. That is not part of it. That's black hole. You go away, black hole. We'll deal with you later. And still more washers. So I gotta clean all these posts, all those parts, drop targets. And I noticed that like the optos, they just have a little bit of motion to them. Two of the three. I just plugged this board into the machine as is and tested the optos, and they all are working fine. But I'm going to reflow them just to beef them up a little bit while it's out. Might as well. So the solder station is heating up. So a little solder, a little clean, a little reassemble, and then that should be good to go. Okay, there it is, all cleaned. The solder has been reflowed on the optos, and I did the headers as well, just for good measure, and everything cleaned and put back together again. So let's give it a test. Reset the bank there, and then, oh, get back up there. Whoa, okay, let's see how this does now. It's a little better. And last duck. Boom. There we go. That is good to go. I just need to get me some target decals. These two cleaned up really well with Magic Eraser, and they're in pretty good shape. So I guess if I order a set, might as well replace them all, but maybe I can just order one, but probably not. So that goes on the to-do list. All right, now I will put this back in and solder it back together. Okay, back in switch test, drop target assemblies reinstalled. Oops, that was me pressing the flipper. Let's see what happens here. That sounds good. That looks good. That is good. Beautiful. They're nice and flush, centered. That is done. Mission accomplished. Alright, now what am I going to tackle next? I'm going to try and fix this switch. That could be a bit of a challenge. Ugh, I don't know yet. We'll figure this out, what I'm going to do next. I'll keep you posted though. Okay, check this out. All I had to do is remove 4 screws, and I was able to prop up this ramp enough to access this switch that is not registering. Now, I'm in switch test again, and I will show you what I have discovered. So, you roll a ball over here, right? Nothing. But if you push the switch down below the plastic by about 1/8 or 1/4 of an inch, it will register. But it's definitely, the ball will never trigger that. That is below the ramp, the trigger point. So, good news is I don't have to replace the switch. That is awesome. All I have to do is just figure out the perfect adjustment so that it works, and then put the 4 screws back. I'm happy about that. Alright, check this out. We'll just roll this ball over the switch. It's happy, but the real test is trying to whip it around the ramp. So there was 3 clicks. I think one was because I hit this so hard that it registered on the way back. So 2 switch hits for that, and then 1 for that. So if I hear 3, that's fine. If I hear 2, that's ideal. Let's whip it around and see. So 3. There we go. So if you hit that ramp really hard, then it might give you 2 triggerings of that shot. But I believe if the programming is the way it should be, you'd have to hit both those switches to get the points that are labeled on the ramp there. But I thought that was going to be way more of a nightmare to fix, but that mission is accomplished. I'm pretty much down to flipper rebuilds and this flaky Ferris wheel. Yeah, so I'll keep you posted. Okay, I just did a little mini flipper rebuild, which consisted of new coil stops. This is, you can see a little bit cupping. This one is kind of more so cupping. And then look at the sleeves. This one was a bit of a challenge to get out. And I pulled the ring off of the coil sleeve there. So both flippers were kind of weak. Now I'm hoping that will resolve it. Putting in the new sleeve into this guy, which is the right flipper, into the coil was a little stiff, so there's a chance that I might have to replace the right coil altogether. But new stops, new sleeves. I filed down the plungers, cleaned the end of stroke switches, kind of cleaned up the carbony dust all the way around everywhere. And that's just a little refurbishment of the flippers. So I've been working on this bad boy for 2 or 3 hours or something. Now, please don't break my phone. Did I ask Henry for hurricane apron cards? I think I might have. Oh, look what else I did. Orange flipper rubbers rather than the black. Doesn't that look so much better? Okay, so what we're going to do is test these flippers out. It's not going to be easy one-handed, but oh well, that's the shenanigans that you get with this channel. Okay, first of all, let's turn the volume down. Come on. Oh yeah. There should be a ball coming up. No, okay, I found it. I must have missed it. Okay, volume down a bit. Do we have sound in every speaker, by the way? Oh. I'm gonna have to check that. I heard sound on this speaker. Alright, fine, let's just hit the start button. I'm gonna need credits. There we go. Okay, let's listen. That left speaker does not sound like anything. Right speaker sounds okay. Now let's check down here. Yeah, that sounds okay. So, left speaker doesn't have sound, which doesn't surprise me because I saw a couple wire nuts on the wires going to the speaker. So we'll have to check that, add that to the to-do list. I didn't really get much off the to-do list, but I was just kind of working as I went. So speaker left. Okay, that's on there. And now let's see how these flippers. Seems okay. Which side? I forgot. Okay. Oh yeah. No. Okay, I'll try and play one-handed. Hey, where's my ball? What? Where's my ball, man? Oh, there it goes. Bonus. That switch, drain switch, is a little bit flaky. Going back to the list. Drain switch. I did test it, but I guess when I tested it with my finger, not the ball, so there you go. Let's try this again. Let's try middle. Okay, well, so far they seem okay. I must have made that drain switch worse because it was fine before. But, oh well, I can get that going. Anyway, that's about all I'm gonna do for tonight. There we go. On Hurricane. But it's getting pretty close. I put a good dent in it, so I'm happy with that. Alright, cool. We'll catch you guys on the next one. I'll do another Hurricane, I'm sure. Finish it off.